Welcome to Jazz Time. JazzTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. If you like this watch and would like to buy it at the lowest price anywhere online, click on the link in the description below to buy it at JazzTime.com. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the Rolex Datejust 36 reference 126234 with a custom Tiffany ice blue sky dial. I'm going to talk to you about the dial, of course, the bezel, the case, the bracelet, the movement, try it on, and give you my thoughts. So let's start. This watch is the Rolex Datejust. Rolex makes their Datejust in size 28mm, 31mm, and 36mm for women. That's basically small, medium, large, 36 being the largest, which is what you're looking at. Now, for men, they also make it in size 36 and 41. You could also maybe even say they make it in size 42, which is the Skydweller. Although the Skydweller is called the Skydweller, it really is just an extension of the Datejust line because it looks very much like a Datejust. Okay, but back to this one. This is size 36. And if you've been paying attention, you'll realize that the 36 can be worn for both men and women, for women who like to wear larger watches because it's in trend right now, or that have a larger wrist. Conversely, it can also be worn for men who have either a smaller wrist or like to wear a more gentlemanly sized watch. Just like hats can be unisex, they can be for both men and women. So can watches. The Datejust 36 is that watch that can be worn by either man or woman. Okay, so with that said, let's talk a bit about this case. The case is a stainless steel case, and it is 36mm from the 8 o'clock to the 2 o'clock position, the longest distance across the bezel of the watch, or the distance of the watch, the diameter, that's 36mm. Now, if I flip it on its side, so you can see the side profile, you'll see that it's a nice, comfortable 12mm and fits no problem under your cuff, or leaves a very low profile, so it's not to be cumbersome to you. Now, it's made out of a monoblock middle case, which just means that the steel is one singular piece of steel. It's made out of the strongest steel and best steel, anti-corrosive, and many, many other good properties. It's 904L steel, which is very difficult to work with. But of course, Rolex spares no expense, being the world's leading watchmaker in terms of almost everything. So it's no surprise that they use the best steel for their watches, which are very likely to last the test of time, probably longer than you and I will be alive for. This watch will probably still be here. Okay, that is the case itself. Now let's move on to the dial. The dial is quite special here. Now, what is special about the dial? Well, first of all, Rolex does not make the Tiffany ice blue dial in the Datejust line. They make it for several other lines, such as their Oyster Perpetual. They also make it in their Day Date. They make an ice blue dial there. This is more of a Tiffany ice blue, which has a sort of a brighter ice blue as opposed to a duller ice blue that is found in the Day Dates. So we call it the Tiffany ice blue. It's been very popular lately, and it is a custom dial. And what I mean by that is it is not made by Rolex. Now, you might be wondering, why would you put a dial not made by Rolex into a Rolex? Well, actually, the dial itself, let me show you what a dial looks like. Okay, so over here, I have what a loose dial is. Now, what we do is we take off the original dial, we remove the crown, the hour markers, and then they refinish, not me, but our dial maker, refinish the dial from its original color into the color that you now see in front of you, which is the Tiffany ice blue. In fact, if you didn't want Tiffany ice blue and you said, I want purple or yellow or green or red, whatever color you want, we could finish it to whatever color you want. We just take the base model, which is the watch itself, the dial that originally existed on it, We remove all the parts that I just said, which is the parts that they stick on there, which is the crown and the hour markers. We remove them, refinish the dial, kind of like repainting a car. We refinish it. It's called refinish. And then we place those markers back on. So just the color itself has changed. And of course, we reprint the words and recolor it. But the crown and the hour markers are still the ones that came with it. And so is the base plate. So that's what happens when you refinish the dial. And the end result is what you see here. Okay. And why would you want to do that? Well, let's say you want to have a very unique watch. Let's say the colors that Rolex provides, which are very basic colors in this material, in this stainless steel and white gold, is pretty basic. They offer black, white, blue, pink, purple, green, silver, very basic colors. But let's say you're a person who likes to wear pastel colors, or just wants a very bright watch, or even wants one in red or yellow, or whatever color that you want to have and sort of customize your own Rolex. Well, that's why you would have a custom dial. Some people, for example, let's say you bought a Ferrari or a Porsche or Lamborghini or something, and you weren't satisfied with the colors that they offer. And I've seen people drive around in purple Lamborghinis, pink Lamborghinis, and that doesn't come from factory, but they've gone ahead and painted their Ferrari. Now, some people may not like that, but some people do. And whoever owns this watch or will own the watch is allowed to decide how they want to wear it. If they don't like the factory one, well, it's a free country. You can wear any color you want. You can even make it rainbow if you want, or a mix of different colors. It's your watch. Just like if you buy a car, it's your car. You can do anything you want to it. Does it make it not authentic? No. The watch is still authentic. Is it 100% authentic? No, because the dial has been changed. Will it get serviced under warranty by Rolex should something break? No, because you've taken out, it's not like you've changed a link or something. You've changed the internals of it, which is the dial. With that said, at Jazz Time, if you buy the watch from us, by the way, if you click on this link in the description below, you can buy it from us. And if you do that, you get a 1-year warranty anyways. And should anything happen outside that year, we'll still help you get it fixed. Of course, there may be a charge, whatever it is, but it's usually a very reasonable charge. And I can also say that in general, Rolexes are doing very well in terms of their performance. They don't really break very often. Per every 1,000 watches that we've sold, I would say probably maybe one. I can't actually even remember the last time one of the Rolexes that we sold had a factory issue and broke. So it's been that long, and we sell a lot of watches at Jazz Time, you could imagine. Okay, so that's the dial. And let me point out something else to you. When I point this flashlight at it, you can see that it has luminescent hands. Now, those luminescent hands are the ones that came from Rolex. The hands as well as the hour markers are both luminescent, and you can see it at nighttime. Now, you can also actually have the choice of making white gold hands if you want. You just have to let us know. In this particular case, these are index hands, or index markers with white luminescent hands. You could actually have it as Roman numerals if you wanted, if you specified that. Okay, anyways, that's enough about the dial. Let's move on to the bracelet. Okay, the bracelet is a Jubilee bracelet. It has 5 links across, semicircular. It has a high polish down the center and brush finish down the sides. Okay, and Rolex makes either Jubilee or Oyster bracelets, and Jubilee is probably the more feminine and more classic of the two, and I would say Oyster is a more sporty and modern look to the Datejust. Now, both have their pluses and minuses. The Jubilee is a bit more form-fitting than the Oyster bracelet, and the Jubilee also is less easy to see the scratches as opposed to Oyster, because the Oyster has a bigger surface area. Okay, but anyways, if you look at the buckle, now the buckle is also quite nice because the buckle has a easy link comfort extension, which allows you to change the the length of the bracelet by 5 millimeters without using any tools. You just simply pull on the section like this and it'll come out. You can see it very easily, and that I think it looks, I know it's a very functional thing to have, because a lot of watchmakers don't do that. For example, like the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, there's no extension. You cannot change the length of the bracelet without tools. Now Rolex is known for their practicality, so they have this option where you can adjust the bracelet by 5 millimeters without any tools, which is a great thing here. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and talk about this bezel. The bezel is a fluted bezel. Now, this is Rolex's most iconic bezel. In fact, I would probably say, not probably, I would say that the bezel on the Rolex Datejust is the single most identifiable watch part in the entire world. I don't think that there's any other part of a watch that is more identifiable than this. No other watch brand uses a fluted bezel like this, and anybody who sees this fluted bezel can instantly recognize it as Rolex. And therefore, I have to say I like this version of it. Now, Rolex also makes other versions of this bezel. They make a domed bezel, which is completely flat, and they also make a diamond bezel. I have to say that the fluted bezel is my favorite above and those other ones I just mentioned, even though the diamond one's more expensive. Why? Because it's signature Rolex, and Rolex being the biggest and baddest brand out there, having its most signature look is just like amazing. This would be like the equivalent of a Mercedes star, or the Ferrari's prancing horse, or any other symbol of something. And this is it. Okay, so it's beautiful. It's 18 karat white gold, and as you can see, it looks fantastic. Okay, now let's move on to the movement here. The movement is a caliber 3235. It's precise to plus minus 2 seconds a day, and it has a power reserve which is upped from its previous power reserve of 48 hours to now 70 hours. And I've seen this movement many times, and I've compared it to the older 3135. In terms of the movement finish, the newer 3235 looks much nicer than the 3135, and it just looks much more modern. And Rolex is going through a phase in these last few years of changing all their old model calibers, all their own movements, into the newer movement that has this newer style finish. And although you can't see it, if you were able to see it, it looks fantastic. Okay. All right. So that's it. Let's try this thing on. Now, I am 6 foot tall, 200 pounds, and this one is a 36 millimeters. Now, it doesn't look that small on me, but I have to say, if you are approximately 160, 170 pounds or smaller, then I would suggest a 36 millimeter, which is what you see here, or you have a wrist size of 7 inches or smaller. I think anybody with a wrist size of 7 inches or larger, they should consider a Datejust 41, because that's a better size for them. I think a Datejust 36 is better for those who have a wrist size of less than 7 inches, which usually corresponds to a person of weight 160 pounds, 70 pounds, or smaller if it's a man. If it's a woman, I would probably say, let's say maybe 150 pounds or smaller could go with this 36. Or I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. I would say for women who are, let's say, have a wrist size of 6.5 or larger, they could wear this 36, and that usually corresponds to a woman of approximately like 130 pounds. Or let's say 120 pounds. If you're a woman 120 pounds or a wrist size of 6.5 or larger, you could consider the 36. If you're smaller than that, you probably should consider the 31, which is not a bad thing, because it looks good, very good as well. Okay, so anyways, what are my thoughts on this watch? Well, I'm a real fan of it, which is why we're selling it here at jazztime.com by clicking on the link in the description below. You can buy it, by the way, at the lowest price anywhere online. Now, it is a custom setup here where Jazz Time has changed out the dial, as I explained to you earlier. But my thoughts are that, it's a great way to personalize a watch. The Datejust is a nice watch. It's not super expensive. At the moment, it's around 14,000-15,000 as of 2023. That includes the customization, everything. And so I think this is a great watch for those who want to stand out a bit and also wear colors that are more pastel, like pink, lavender, white, yellow, sky blue, lime green, these pastel light colors, kind of a summer watch. This is not your winter watch. This because of the very bright, colors, soft but bright. So it can be worn by those people that want to have sort of a brighter summer style watch. And I think and they don't want to go as expensive as like a platinum date, which is going to cost you $60,000-$70,000 or more. They want to have something a little cheaper, a little more daily wear, and I think this would be a very good idea for that. And you could also put this one in, if you wanted this in a 31 millimeter or whatever other size, we could definitely do that for you. Okay, so for all those reasons I said, I give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to buy it, click on the link in the description below.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to Model as seen in video, click on it and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on the mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.